Anyways, this is a VOD of Nakat, one of the community managers, and he goes over the things that he wants personally changed, which is surprising because I don't think it's that funny. It's surprising because you think that he has a little bit of a say on what changes. Not saying that he's like the one making the decisions on what changes, but if he's saying it all here, that means that his words aren't really getting listened to, or I don't know, maybe they will.
These are changes that I would like for the game. So aerial land cancels, obviously I already talked about that. Doing a move and gliding through the ground is very jarring. It also adds to the problem of moves that have a lot of drift on them, aka moves that are able to carry people, looking at Powerpuff Girls and Finn. They lose the ability to do that when spaced close to the ground. Overall though, moves shouldn't do that in the first place, right? That's my opinion. Moves should not carry people across the stage in the first place. Aerial land cancels will inherently make the game faster by design, while also allowing for more natural invariance of combos between ground to aerial state and aerial to grounded state.
I agree to where, you know how like Powerpuff Girls will do her air dash attack or other moves that like carry you through the air, or that shouldn't be happening? What about a Superman in air? Will that just like send you in place? Do you guys know what the land canceling is? Or the aerial canceling? Because I thought he was like talking like that or something. You see how my nair doesn't... Okay, it does carry people, actually. Those types of moves should not carry you, but maybe they just have it knocked back, which I don't know if I agree with, because it does feel really good to knock them back a little bit. What are platform fighter aerial land cancels? The technique of canceling the landing recovery frames of an aerial attack by immediately inputting another action as soon as you touch the ground. So there's a delay, so if I like punch him like this, there should be like no delay as soon as I touch the ground. I could see that happening. I never really thought of that improving it. I don't think that's something that will improve the game drastically to the point where it's gonna feel all that different, but I could see where that makes it faster. If I'm understanding it right, you basically cancel the pause you get for landing on the ground, which seems fine, seems reasonable to me. I'm trying to understand the mechanics as well. So I think it's when you're on the ground still, sliding and performing an aerial attack, but I'm like on the ground like that, you talking about? And I should be able to cancel out of that. If I jump up, do that, and I'm sliding on the ground again, does that count as that me doing a aerial land cancel? Air, boom. So I should be able to do like a move like this as as soon as I touch the ground with this ability. Like if I miss this attack, I could do an instant up tilt. Either way, that's good.
Overall, just net positive for combat, period. 2, just make the game faster in general. Ground speed, just increase everybody's ground speed. You obviously don't want tanks zooming around everywhere, but you keep them slow relative to the rest of the cast.
I don't know if I agree with that. At least with the current balance of the game, it just makes it feel more ass, because it just makes those matchups even harder for tanks when you're going against someone who's just faster while the tanks just stayed slower. I think it has a chance of making it worse.
I don't like auto-teching.
I agree with that. I don't like the auto-attacking.
I think players should have more agency in being able to choose when they want to tech and how they want to tech. I think,
yeah, I agree with that. I think everyone agrees with that.
You have your neutral tech, you have tech to the left, tech to the right. In some realm where you can make a tech state that actually throws out an attack, so people have to also react to or respect that too. A lot of the time I see people say we need to throw whiff on this, but they also want a faster game. But the issue is if you just keep throwing whiff on everything, you inherently are going to continue to make the game slow regardless. Let's say everybody's speed gets buffed, right? But then everybody has a shit ton of whiff lag.
Hey,
doesn't matter.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Ultimately, what he's saying about the teching, I agree. Having an attack, being able to do a manual attack, not auto tech. I don't know if you should be able to stay on the ground first. So it's like when you get hit in tech, you stay on the ground and then you can choose what to do, or you can be able to do an attack afterwards. And then he's talking about whiff. The thing, I agree, because if you add whiff on everything, yeah, it'll make the game slower. So I keep saying on whiff on certain abilities, but I need to realize that any normal attack, it should be kill moves. It should be kill moves. The problem is with jabs, some of them are kill moves, which is just stupid. Jabs should be a way to enter a combo, not a way to finish someone off. So those shouldn't be high whiff, but like kill moves should be pretty high whiff, which are some jabs. So that's the problem. I can't even do anything. What are you debating me on? There's nothing to debate me on. You're literally doing it to me. You're literally bending me over and doing it to me. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to pause it.
I want to
This fucking unpaused it, but I can't pause it this
You
way.
wanna, one,
Stupid
make
fucking
characters faster
Twitch.
and doesn't matter how fast you're running on the ground.
So
when
he's saying
you
it-
miss a move, you're
Dude,
not
running on the
actionable
ground
for a
is not
certain
even what
amount
I'm
of
worried
time.
about.
The game inherently will become slower because of that.
It was all the aerial
You
gameplay.
want that, I want to say tackle game speed. You want to, one, make characters faster inherently, and then two, you can still have moves be safer and faster but still be punishable. That is where the importance and utility of active defense, aka shield, come in mostly. You
So you're
feel
saying
me?
the shield is what makes up for
Some moves
not
that
having
are,
whiff.
crazy and knockback. But I mean like insane. Obviously should have more whip lag than others, right? There should be more of an opening to punish.
Yes.
Okay, risk reward.
Okay, that I can agree with.
Moves should have variable and hitboxes, right? I gave the Finn example where Finn's passive is very strong. He can run with his like grounded moves. It's insane, right? That's such a strong ability to have. The thing is that if Finn were to space with the tipper of his side attack and you shield it, depending on who you are, there's a chance you can't punish him, even if he's put in a whiff state, because he's spacing with the tipper of the move. He's far from you using a disjoint. But if you made it so that the reward he's looking for, he got when he hit with the base of his sword, rather than every single part of the sword, that forces him to have intention behind how he spaces that side attack on the ground and how he uses that and how much he approaches.
I bet you
with it,
most people don't even
right?
know that
And so
that's a thing,
if he
getting the
decides
tipper.
to go for that and you shield it, if he's hitting you with the base of his sword, that means Finn is on top of you, which means every character is going to be able to punish him. And there's a plethora more of ways you'll be able to punish him. Because depending on how he spaces, some options get cut off. But that's how that should be. That is a fighting game. That's how it goes. With Nubia, funny enough, she's one of the few characters in the game where, like, if you use the Cold Sight perk, you now have access to a tipper, which you can use to kill, and then you have the access to, oh, I can purposely not tipper you because I want to hit you with the non-tipper part of my sword to get different conversions, or because I don't want to purposely send you that far away from me. Very important. What does that do? Skill expression. Adds nuance to her combat. Adds layers to skill in general and how you move with this character, right? Most moves have, like, I want to say, one button utility. Everybody looks like they're playing the same character all the time. People look identical in the way they're playing a character. When you make variables to their hitboxes, you open up the board for a Nubia player looking different from another Nubia player.
Maybe I didn't really think of it that way. Every character looking the same, just because of there's like each move is kind of in a similar way. You know, jab all looks pretty similar. Down air can be very similar to other moves. So you're saying that like if a down air had a stronger effect or different effect for hitting it in a different spot. Yeah, maybe that might have more skill expression, I guess, but I don't know if that's what people are exactly looking for. I don't know if that's my biggest complaint, where characters are feeling the exact same over and over. Maybe that could contribute to the redundant gameplay or the meta, where you just, you know, kind of go back and forth and wait for a jab, wait for them to whiff so you can have an opportunity to hit them. Personally, I feel like the biggest reason it feels like that is because if you go in, you get punished so hard, you don't want to go in again until you know it's for sure. It's what it feels like a lot of times. Like, oh, if I get punished once, I'm just screwed and I get 80 damage. Next combo, I'm going to die. That's what I think personally it feels like. But if you can go in there not taking a shit ton of damage and feel like if you do mess up, it's not the end of the world and like, wow, I'm probably going to lose because of that, then that would feel nice. So a little bit less damage, a little bit less knockback on some moves, and I think that would make it feel a lot better. And I think adding what Nikat just said, I don't think it would hurt the game. I don't think it would be bad, but I just don't think it's a solution right now.
I just think the game could use getting faster in general. Just everybody getting more faster. I don't really have much to say on that. Ground speed.
Ground
make it
speed
quicker.
won't
You don't have to
make it
beta
won't do
fast.
anything.
I don't want the game to be beta fast personally. I don't want it to be mosquito swatting simulator.
I think it's a little too far. Mosquito swatting simulator. I think it was more than that. It was actually reading your opponent. I get what he's coming from, but I think that's a little severe comparison. It felt nicer to kill someone in a lot of ways in the beta. Okay, let's say that you are a mosquito. When you were a mosquito, it's just like Mr. Miyagi. You know, he's trying to get the fly. And that feels so good when you actually grab the fly. Same way in the beta. Yeah, it might be annoying at times, and it might be a little overtuned, but when you swat that fly or grab him with the chopsticks and read him like a book, it felt so nice because everyone is so fast. But here, it just feels like you're tub of molasses, and so it's a lot easier for people to fall in the same meta or go back and forth, jab, boom, 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 damage. Oh crap. I took a lot of damage. Need to be back and forth. Oh, he misses. Oh, boom, boom. But like, that's why. It's because it's slower that way.
But it's okay to let characters move. The
Yeah,
platform
true,
fighter
Hustle.
genre is a genre that is based on movement and speed, and it has been that way.
But I don't know how fast he wants it.
And so I think
If he
it's
doesn't like the
important to
beta.
celebrate the things that make platform fighters. Well, hit pause just needs a big reduction
Hit
across
pause,
the board, because that
I
will
think
also
everyone-
help with game feel and speed in general.
Yes, I
Like,
agree with
it
that.
just
Everyone agrees with that.
literally needs the hit pause. Just needs to, bruh. I would heavy-handedly tone that down.
Do you need, like,
But
the thing
anyway.
is, do you quit saying doo-doo? Does platform fighters need hit pause? Does it need a hit pause at all? Like, what's the reason for a hit pause? Is it just so that way your brain can be like, oh wait, it kind of adds delay to the game, so that way it feels like I understand the game, so it's not like just or I don't know. Like, is that the only purpose of hit pause? Because right now it just makes it feel slow and clunky. I think that's annoying too, because the hit pause, it can actually add on to combos because of that initial delay. For example, in a 2v2, if Shaggy does a sidekick, boom, hits one person, but I'm jumping up, then it's like pauses. It was enough delay for me to jump into it when I would have jumped it up or earlier or whatever.
With platforms, platforms are essential to platform fighters. One, it helps with disadvantage and advantage state. Counterpicking stages is very important in a platform fighter.
I think people hate platforms, if you've only played Multiversus, including me, because they're useless. Like, they're hardly useful. Like, they're more detrimental to my gameplay because sometimes I'm just trying to dodge it and it like acts as if I'm trying to dodge off the platform and I go 3 miles.
If you know this character has better combos because of a stage that has a certain platform layout, you're probably going to want to ban that stage, right?
Banning of
In a
stages would be
tournament
nice
setting.
too. It shouldn't even be
So,
tournament, just ranked. You should be able to
have
ban.
the ability to give stages more, I want to say, more nuance in terms of like how they affect a match, but also characters can be designed in a way where you know this character benefits from this stage but doesn't benefit from this stage, right? And those are all important factors too.
I agree with
in a
that.
platform
I
fight.
think that's important.
But the thing with platforms is
They're
that
trash.
here it takes longer to drop through a platform because, funny enough, having to press down and A is hard. not that it's hard to
It just
press
takes
those
forever.
two buttons,
It's not-
but it definitely takes away from how quickly you are
Yeah.
able to fall through a platform and actually perform an action.
So
that
it's just not,
matters
like, worth
in
it.
order to like punish an opponent if you want
Or
to drop through a platform.
if you
with a
have to
move.
do it, then you just
And
can't do
also
anything with
wave
it.
landing in general, right? Wave landing is really cool. It's
What is-
really expressive, but there's two issues here. One, in our game, you get charged for. So because you're getting charged for wave landing, it's like, here's this cool thing you could do, but don't do it because you're losing meter. So
Is the wave
typically
landing where
players that
you
like to do this,
wave
which they should like to do it. It's fun. It's cool. It's cool. It
off
looks
the
good.
platform?
It's also effective too in mixing people. I'm gonna watch you do it. I'm gonna watch you burn yourself out, and then you're not gonna be able to really do it anymore. And I'm just gonna hit you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hit
true.
you. And it's not going to be good because you don't have an invincible dodge or anything. You can't even block when you're burned out.
And also, it makes it easier to read and worse because that's like literally the only thing you can do off a platform besides going under or like going through it.
What does that tell me? Why would I ever wave land? There's no point in doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
burnout is insane.
I'm literally killing myself in the game.
I really
like,
just
by doing this. It's terrible.
Also, speaking of burnout, there's some things that just take so much. Like, I think I keep, maybe it's a skill issue, but I accidentally keep on dodge jumping or whatever, and it takes 2. It takes like all my bar. Just for what? Dodge jumping? Like, seriously? Remove some cost, like he was saying about the wave landing or whatever on the platform, and then make everything else that should cost something just 1 bar. Why do you have to make it so much? It just makes it less fun. Like, imagine you get 1 bar of burnout. It's essentially is what it is. Well, everyone gets 1 bar now. We heard the feedback. Everyone gets 1 bar, so you can only do 1 move. It's essentially the same thing. It's like the same feeling. It's like, why? Oh, it makes it so your decisions matter. I get that, but like, give me a little bit more leeway.
So I would make wave landing free entirely.
Agreed.
In a genre where everybody wants to express themselves and move, let them move. So
True.
I make wave landing free.
Would you make the
wave
game
landing
free,
even
though?
better. In this game, when you wave land, you're not actionable immediately. When you perform
able
a
to
wave
react.
land, let the player choose if they want to jab or they want to jump, or if they want to be actionable, let them do it mid-slide. You feel me?
It's a lot harder to punish if you do that too.
Short hop and fast fall, thankfully, are in the game.
Or fast fall and short hops. Have they made a lot of difference to you guys?
Hop. You couldn't even like throw out an aerial and get down to the ground quick enough to.
True.
To
I guess if you do like a.
So what does that do?
Yeah, I get that.
Because of that, it makes it so that when you actually approach someone with an aerial, they have 3,000 years to react to that aerial.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because if you're in the game, it's more like this thing. So this is me tapping A. Like even the short hop could be shorter, to be honest. I think the short hops, I think they should be cancelable. So I can click jump and my neutral. So it's like almost cancels my jump. I think jump should be cancelable. But the fact that they added the short hops makes it so I don't have to start my nair up here like this. I mean, that's good. I just feel like they need to go a step further with that.
It makes people not want to jump at each other. What does that incentivize? It incentivizes
boring
staying on the
gameplay.
ground and just boost jabbing until you can get a conversion. Short hops change that. Fast
Short
falling is
hops
also the next
changed
piece of the puzzle.
it completely? I don't think so.
Which, to be honest,
a little
I
bit.
always wanted these things. So it's just like, thank God they're here.
Working together makes it a bigger difference.
I guess the last thing
So you don't jump as high and you get down faster.
I don't think if you block a debuff, you should get the debuff anyway. So if Stripe hits
I don't know why he mentions this because I thought it was a
I
bug.
shouldn't have a reticle over my head at all. At all. There should be no reticle over my head. Like Ignite shouldn't be going
100%.
through.
That is trash. If I jump on him, that's why it's so strong. Because a lot of times they'll shield that, but look at that, they're still taking the 5 damage or whatever. Look at my combo, 1.1 damage. But
Shield,
it should not be a thing.
All debuffs, in my opinion,
Yeah, bat
do not
bomb
go
too.
through shield. And it's only this game that does this. But if you hit a shield, you go into the whiff branch of your move. So people have like even
Oh,
more
yeah,
time
dude,
to punish you
it's
if
so
they block
bad.
your move. The problem with this is that it takes away from the need for spacing to actually matter on someone's shield. You know, which is a skill thing too. People should be rewarded for spacing properly. People should also be rewarded for approaching with shield and making it so that they force an opponent to misspace a move. So there's a layer of that interactivity that's just gone.
I agree with that. They should just remove that. Like no matter what move
Which
either.
also just, those are all things I would personally change. Then when it comes to balance in the game, you know, I talked about that too. It's just like, I brought up the example of like loops and infinites. Obviously they just shouldn't be there. So I don't even really want to waste time talking about that.
True. But how do you fix it properly?
Other things too, like top tiers. It's good. You can have healthy top tiers. You can have top tiers that are fun. I don't think a character should be punished for being top tier. I don't think a character should be punished for winning a tournament. I think you punish egregious options that are like super duper 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 strong that offer little to no counterplay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I think Wonder Woman being able to pop armor on herself and burnout is not good.
There we go! There we go! And people say that Wonder Woman isn't broken. That is so broken. Popping shield on burnout. I mean, I don't think it was ever a discussion where people are like, oh, well, I guess there's no, that guy's #1 in the tournament of nerfing to the ground. Thing is, with nerfing, you do not want to immediately go, oh, you know what? What move is doing that? Oh, it's gun. Let's just make it worthless. You don't want to make a move that's strong, but really fun and nerf it to the ground. You want to make that move still fun, but how can we fix this broken, like actual broken thing about it? How can we fix that? Not, oh, you know what, let's just make this less fun. Like, for example, Taz Tornado, they made it so that you can't like fast fall with the tornado. That's not how you fix the tornado, man. You just make it so you can't really use it as much, in my opinion. It should be like a cooldown, but you still make it so, like, you make it even more fun, but you have that trade. Also, the boots and the apple comparison, like the apples are way more fun and enjoyable to use rather than the boot, in my opinion. Things like that. You just need to make things fun. The things can be strong, like you said.
I don't think that's like a good thing at all.
Because then what's the point of burnout? Wondering we can just use it. Doesn't make any sense. That's why I see Superman's
That's just one
balanced.
example, right?
I have to sit still with armor.
Then
I
if
don't
you
get
go
armor and
back in
burnout.
time, and you look at like, not even back in time, but if you go down the roster and you look at like weaker characters, there are a lot of characters that are weak that you probably can make really. There are some design archetypes though that are like, if you make them too good or even just straight up good, they could break the game. Sadly, some character design archetypes fall into that category, right?
Yeah, probably like Jake or something.
Balancing, of course, across the board is a subjective thing. There is some objectivity in balancing, but you have to think of it with many variables in mind. There are certain things that you guys don't like that other players do like. There are certain things you think that are broken that other players don't think are broken, right? So who do you listen to?
You listen to me. Nick, I'm here.
Who's to say that, you know, what you want is more important than the next guy and vice versa?
Have you seen me? Have you seen the jawline? Have you seen the
So
forehead?
It's all super
I'll fight anyone.
important to think about from like a multitude of angles.
That's true,
with,
but
with the balance team. So like
feel like
Ajax,
they're listening to
Gopo,
no one.
Retro, like a couple other guys that are on the balance team. There are times where there are choices that players don't like, and then there are times where there are choices that, you know, players really end up liking.
yeah, but there's
Which it's
a
very
lot of
hard
changes
job
that are
because
happening
it's
that
like
no
when
one
you do
likes.
well,
Like
people
Fighter Road.
are still mad at you, and when you make a mistake, people are still mad at you.
Yeah, because you've made so many mistakes. Like there comes a time where
And
you
even though I
lose
might
the
not be,
trust
like, on the
of the
balance
community.
team, I still offer my suggestions and stuff.
So you've offered all
It's
these and they
just
just
that-
don't give a shit?
What one person wants isn't always going to get through. There are things I've suggested that have actually happened, and then there are things I've suggested that straight up they haven't happened for one reason or another.
Yeah,
That's
but
people
why?
Just assume,
You're-
you can't, what are you doing, man? You're fucking up the game.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
problems with that
Whoever
statement.
thinks
One,
that-
one guy doesn't control the balance.
Yeah.
Not possible.
Yeah.
There are some people that probably
whoever
not
thinks
even probably,
that
there's
is-
some people that have more power over the balance than others.
Yeah.
But one individual straight up controlling the balance, no.
I've never
It should
thought that.
definitely be a
Whoever
team.
has thought that is a good question of like, oh yeah, what one person wants doesn't mean that it's going to go in the game, you know? And I understand that that is a reality, but I still want to ask the question, why does that happen? What's going on in the meeting rooms? How do you decide what's best? Oh, are you basing it off money? Are you basing it off only casuals? Are you basing it off this or that? Because right now it doesn't feel like they're basing it off anything. And they say it's based on our feedback, but I don't know what majority of feedback is asking for Fighter Road or things like that as an example. I think most of the things he's suggesting makes sense.
I mean, yeah, same people. Same people have been balancing since relaunch, y'all.
Same people have been balancing. Wait, since relaunch, beta people are still balancing the game how they used to. I just find that extremely hard to believe. There's got to be more influence somewhere. They need to give moves a different attack when in cooldown, like how Batman's Batarang. Yeah, that would be nice if they could do that globally. That's what I think Taz Tornado should be. Like, it should be really strong and really able to control, but then when it goes on cooldown, it shouldn't be a mini version. It should be a cooldown, I think, but it should be a different move when it's on cooldown, so that way it's not just like, oh yeah, stack infinite cooldowns on every character, make it boring. But have that move be fun. Like, as you just said, Nikat,
Which,
not
shout outs
everyone
to,
has the
like,
influence,
Gopo.
and some people have more influence.
like his-
It must suck being in a game you gotta get character bounce all the time. It must cost a lot of money to get it right. It's true, but if I feel like it wouldn't be that hard, you could potentially screw things up. You can't just be like, oh yeah, change this. But if you have a good direction and good leadership, then I feel like, and you get a flow to how your game actually works, I feel like it'd be really easy. Not extremely easy, just I think it would be pretty easy to get a flow of that, how your game is. But the problem is they just have no idea what the hell they don't know the direction of their game. Like, they're just adding shields, they're adding this, they're adding that, they're overall in the game. So if this game does succeed the way I want it to, it's going to take a long while before they get that flow. And even then, it all depends on the PFG and their leadership and direction for the game, if they can even get to that point.
I do not eat waffles unless it's from Japan.
That's racist. That's racist, Nikat. Just kidding, by the way.
designer, I don't give a fuck about anything.
You heard it. He doesn't care about anything.
That's the only
Flip
thing I
it,
care
ship
about.
it. I'm going to take it out of context. I don't give a shit about anything. Breaking news, the community manager says he doesn't care about anything. Does he care about the game? Is he the reason behind all the problems? I never agreed with that logic of like, nobody asked for her, nobody, like, who cares? The only thing I could see people caring about if a character gets in the game is if you don't have a main yet and you're just like hating every character and you don't have fun with any character. Said it multiple times. If you add a character to the game, even if it's Nubia, not as popular to all these other known characters, Marceline, even if they add Ben 10, all these people, Daffy Duck, it doesn't matter. As you can tell, the proof is in the pudding. The game has died. It's gone stale. People don't play it because of the characters. I mean, they might at this point, but they don't stay because of the characters anymore. It's like you don't understand. It's like Marvel Rivals came out and all the game was, they had those cool characters, and all the game was just like team deathmatch only. Team deathmatch, no ranked, no nothing, and they just left it there. Do you think the game would die? Of course it would. It doesn't matter how many cool characters there are. It would get boring as fuck.
I just want this game to just pop off. And I think it could do that as long as
He
it
thinks
gets
he can
better.
do that. True words have never been spoken. I think it can pop off if it gets better. You know what? My life can pop off, guys, if it just gets better. Airwalker shouldn't be in the game. I actually agree with that.
Because keep in mind, even on the balance team, like I said, they be having good ideas too.
I don't doubt it.
Sometimes
I don't
they get
doubt
through,
it.
sometimes they don't.
Well, that's the problem. You said like, oh yeah, Ajax, Gopo, a few others are still developing the game, but then you say, oh yeah, sometimes those don't get through. That's the problem.
It's way more complicated than y'all will ever know.
That's all we want to know. It's way more complicated than you ever know. Oh yeah, cool. Then we're kept in the dark still.
There's more complications to it than just like, okay, this is good, this makes sense, let's put it in.
Yeah, you're right, and I don't really know how you're right. It shouldn't be that complicated if you were all on the same page, all striving for the same direction of a game. That just seems like common sense of that it should be flowing perfect.
Very, very complicated. In
It
ways
shouldn't
I
be.
just, I said,
It
that's why I'm
shouldn't
just
be
like,
that complicated,
if it gets
though.
in, cool. If it don't get in, well,
If it doesn't get in, then it'll never get in or something. Like I understand priorities. Priorities is a thing. Like, hey, we can't really add that in right now. We need to do this. The only other complication that should be is if you are just legally not allowed because Warner Brothers is fucking you guys over. Because if I was the lead developer of Multiversus, I wouldn't be like, you know what, I know what's best. I would listen to all the feedback, and then I'd be like, hey, is this better? Is it like, okay, I understand that, but here's my concern with this. Do you think we could compromise with this? And then you all talk about it, and then figure out what a compromise with a good balance. Sad that he thinks that's normal though.
At the end of the day, Smash did make the genre, right? People tried to say like, oh, blocking isn't gonna make this, it's not, the game won't be unique anymore. Blocking is not a Smash mechanic, y'all. That is a fighting game mechanic, period.
You just contradicted yourself. Super Smash Bros. Literally made the genre, but then you say shielding isn't a Super Smash Bros. Mechanic. That doesn't make any sense. Of course it is.
When people see a fighting game doesn't have blocking, that makes them raise their eyebrows more than a fighting game getting blocking.
Yeah, because it's a Smash mechanic and it's just what people have known and
So, like,
everyone uses it.
isn't-
It's just like if you had a porn star who's doing a straight porn all the time for years and years, and then they randomly do a gay porn. Okay, that's like the worst example I could have done. But it doesn't matter. It's the same concept. The people, the fans of that person are gonna be like, "Whoa, what happened? That's not what I'm used to. Like, what the heck?" I would raise my eyebrows if that happened, you know what I'm saying? But crazy as that is, Nakat, Yap Sesh. We all love the Yap Sesh. And those are my thoughts. I agree with most of the things he's saying. And I think I love these videos because I think a lot of you guys like them too. Start a conversation at the very least on what people like. All with that said, we can all have hope for Multiversus Season 5 and that they just keep improving the game and they get out of this rut of being a kind of a joke of a fighter game. Exactly, we're all laughing at it. Crazies! Let me know what you guys' thoughts down below. Thanks for listening to me, the Yap, and I hope you guys have a great, fantastic day. With that, I say good night and goodbye. Goodbye, crazies! Goodbye, crazies! I love you, crazy! Goodbye!